Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen.
And Karen, what are we talking about today?
Kittie.
Kittie, yeah.
Kitty Cat.
Kitty.
No, not Kitty Cat. Kittie, the
band Kittie, yes. We saw this show on August 23rd, 2024 at Concord Music Hall. Been there numerous times now.
Yeah.
Did we go last year for the first time? Yeah, we did. Pop Evil may have been your first show.
Yeah, in April or something.
Like that. Anyway, we've been there a lot. I really like that venue. It's a really cool venue. Not super hard to get to. And yeah, it's a cool little spot. I like it a lot. Tickets for this were $30. Well, before we get into the tickets, maybe we should talk about this North American tour and who was with them. Who do we have with Kittie?
Victims and Conquer Divide. Conquer
Divide, right. They said that over and over, so don't forget it. As I said, tickets for this were $30 with $9.15 in fees, so 33% fees almost, and then 36 cents in tax. I love the tax so much. I love tracking the tax. I don't know why, it's just interesting to me. Anywho, Kittie at Concord. We've talked about the venue before because we've talked about this venue. We've been to this venue, so we've talked about it, but let's just dive into the bands, I guess, with Conquer Divide. Why don't you tell us what we had for a set list?
They started with Chemicals, Paralyzed, Welcome to Paradise, Eyes Wide Shut. They ended with New Heaven.
And this is pulled from Setlist FM. I kind of remember, because it's been a while since we've seen this show.
Oh, yeah, this has been, what, a week and a
2
half,
3 weeks? Yeah.
2 weeks.
But in any case, it's been a while since we've seen it. I could have sworn they played more tracks than that.
I thought
felt
too.
Like it went on for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a good 30 minutes probably, like normal. Like a normal opener.
I think it was about 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, but maybe the songs are just longer or something.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Remember.
But she had she had interaction between every single song, so that could be part of it as well.
Where they said their name every single
time. So
I was fine with that. It kind of I kind of laughed after like the third time. Like, we said it before, we're going to say it again. We are Conquer Divide. And I think afterwards I left and like, it's Conquer Destroy, right? And it's like, no, it's Conquer Divide, right?
Well,
Even now I'm asking myself if that's right.
I think the second day or the day after, I was looking them up on Spotify because I wanted to listen to them and Victims, and I couldn't remember their name. Oh. So I'm like, fuck, they said it so many times. I had to go to our spreadsheet to look them up. So
I really liked them.
I liked them. Yeah.
It felt very Lacuna Coil-ish to me. Not necessarily because like you had a male vocalist and a female vocalist going on, but it just had a similar vibe to me in terms of the sound and what I would expect Lacuna Coil to sound like. To me, that's when I heard it. It's like, oh, this is very Lacuna Coil-esque. I don't think I've really listened to them since. We put them on the playlist. I may have listened to them a couple of times since then, but I haven't listened to them right before this podcast, so I don't remember exactly. But that's just sort of the vibe I got from their setup. Yeah,
I remember liking them. Again, I don't think I ever listened to them that second day. I did listen to Victims again, but I didn't listen to them again. So unfortunately, since it's been a couple weeks, I don't remember too much of this set. I remember enjoying it.
Yeah.
And really liking the crowd interaction and everything, even though there's crowd interaction between every song, which we've talked about, where it's like sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't like it.
Yep.
This one was kind of okay and funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was funny and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they were clearly up there having fun and joking with each other.
They have a good presence on this stage.
They do, yeah.
Nothing against opening bands, but definitely for an opening band, they had a really good presence.
Because
we've seen some where it's just like, okay, let's get up and do it 30 minutes. And they actually had like interaction and like movement and energy and everything.
She had a lot of energy bouncing around all over the fucking place, just like jumping and just having a great fucking time up there on stage. It was awesome. I love to see their stage presence. And again, they were just joking amongst themselves and laughing, and you could see them smiling and making like jokes in between songs. Like they'll come up and talk to each other and you just start laughing at each other. It was great to see like that on stage. The one thing though, like I said, the sound or the music to me gave me Lacuna Coil type vibes. And when I think of Lacuna Coil type music and Conquer Divide music, it's heavy metal, but it's not like heavy metal, right? It's fine, it's great, I enjoy it, but it's not fucking hard.
It's rock metal.
Yeah, right? And
yeah. But I mean, I think that's fine with the metal genre. I've said that too. I'm like, this isn't heavy. I don't really remember that from that night, but I mean, there's wide varieties of metal. So.
Sure, and I'm completely fine with it. But what was odd to me was the pit that we were right next to.
Yeah.
The
okay.
pit
I get where
went
you're going. Yeah.
Fucking hard for this band, which is great. But you have people doing like the hardcore shit where they're like throwing fists and kicking in the air and whatnot, right? Like the Bart and Lisa fighting scene and whatnot. So it's like it's fucking. It was weird to me to see like people go that hard in the pit for music that I was like, this isn't that fucking hard. What the hell's going on here? It was weird to me. Is all I'm saying. But again, it was really cool to see. And again, on stage they saw it and they were encouraging like, keep that shit going. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
My only major complaint with their set was the last song, because the last song, they basically turned off the lights and we were right by that pit that was going super fucking hard, and they encouraged like, get in the pit, get like, this is your last chance. And the pit was going fucking hard with no lights and I couldn't see shit in the pit. So it was like, I don't know if I'm going to get hit. I don't know like when I'm going to get hit to like push people back. I can't see shit in the pit. When the lights do come on, it like blinds me. And it was the last song of theirs, like, fuck, this is good. It's over. I'm fine with this. I didn't like that bit of their last song. It was like, but everything else, I enjoyed that a lot. I don't know if you remember that with their set in particular.
No, I remember it with Victim set, but not their set.
That's where I was going to go next. So anything else though for Conquer Divide?
No.
Great fucking set. I love these guys. I want to see this band again. I definitely want to listen to some more of this. But Victims, spelled VCTMS.
Yep, without the eyes. There's no
is
I
that what
in
it
Victim.
is? I'm dyslexic. I can't fucking spell. So.
I know. Whenever there's anything...
is that the joke? There's no I in Victim?
I don't know. I just made that up right now. I don't know anything about this band.
Maybe.
But anytime, like, so we saw like Cultist Black, and there's another band with Cult in it, and it
Cult of the Sun is a
Cult
new
of
one
the Sun. Yeah. So
black metal bands do a lot of this.
There was
shit.
another one where the V is used or whatever,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's hard for you.
Behemoth. All of theirs are like
ofs.
that.
Yeah.
All the ofs and whatnot,
Yeah.
like Fs or Vs or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic. I can't fucking deal with that. Like it's whatever the fuck. Like you can tell me what it says and I'll still like not know what it is. Like my brain just won't comprehend that.
Yeah.
This just looks fucking weird with no vowels in it. Is all I'm thinking. Like victim. I can tell what it is, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck is no? Why are you doing that? It kind of irritates me, honestly.
I see.
Why don't you read off the set list we have for them?
They don't have a set list listed.
They don't have one on Setlist FM. I think I found one from like 6 months before this on there.
Those are hard because you don't know if it's going to be the same.
Right. So we
if
didn't
it's not
throw
from
that.
the same tour, then we don't use it.
Yeah. So we didn't throw that one on there, unfortunately.
Their songs were really short, though. I do remember that.
They were
played
heavier than Conquer Divide.
I mean, they were the heaviest of the night. Yeah, for sure. But they, their songs I just remember were like, maybe they weren't really quick, but I felt like they were like 2 minutes. Like, you know,
they were
start,
quicker
stop.
songs for sure. I mean, honestly, I don't remember this band at all because of that lighting setup we were talking about with Conquer Divide. And they ended their last set like that with like basically no lights on stage, no lights pointing into the crowd, just dark with a pit going. Like we're right on the edge of the pit and they're just fucking going. I did not like that. Basically all of Victim's set was that way. And again, we were right on the edge of the pit and I fucking hated it. I thought multiple times about like, fuck, we should leave. I need to get the fuck out of here. But I didn't. I stuck it out. I shouldn't have. I should have fucking left.
Yeah. I was... not that I was disappointed on that because I do enjoy being near the pit if it's something I enjoy, which I mean, like if people are not swinging fists and kicking and
the hardcore style pitting.
I don't like the hardcore pit, and I also don't like the, what do you call it, dick measuring?
Yeah, like
when
you
it's
were
like
saying, like two giant guys, like who's toughest?
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
dick
that
measuring.
was at like the Lamb of God or the.
You thought it was at Lamb of God. I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah. But I don't like that where I'm just like, yes, you guys are both big guys. Like, don't push either one of you into me like that.
Right.
So, but anyways, I enjoyed the music as well. And I was kind of getting pissed off where I'm like, I can't enjoy this as much as I want to because we have to focus so much on the flashing lights and like when somebody's going to come into our face.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this.
We're not complaining. Like, we understand how pits work.
Right.
It was the lights.
Yes, yeah.
It was the lights that were the issue.
And I've complained about lighting a lot. I hate the backlight into the crowd, like the strobe light. If it's quick strobes every now and then, I'm fine with it. But if it's constant light in my fucking eyes where it's like blinding me, I'll get migraine sometimes, and I fucking hate that. And
I was worried you were going to get migraine this night.
I'll have to leave, or I'll move myself out of the situation. I've done that before several times, right?
Yeah.
I know that, and I'm fine with that. This was different where you had, occasionally you would have lights flash in your eyes, but it was that quick light. But then as soon as that quick light got done, there was like no light anywhere. So you're blinded for a moment, then it's pitch black dark, so now your eyes need to readjust to the dark. By the time they readjust, you get another blast of the face of this fucking light. And the pit's just fucking going hard, because this is a pit that I would expect, like that hard fucking pit to go, that just continued over from Conquer Divide, which was like, fuck, all right. But yeah, it's like I can't fucking see. I'm over here watching somebody come towards me, then I'm blinded, and I get nothing.
And then they don't come run into you.
And then other times, all right, I'm watching, I get blinded, and then I get pushed back like into 4 fucking people. And I spent more time and more energy focusing on trying to make out weird blobs in the pit that I didn't even focus on the music at all. I didn't hear the music at all. I didn't enjoy the crowd like being on the pit at all. So again, I knew that halfway through the set.
We should have moved.
I should have just fucking said, fuck this, I'm done. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and we could have. We easily could have just moved, but...
So that's on me. And we did a whole like 666 on take care of yourself if there's a situation where you're not comfortable and like it's better just to leave. And I think we recorded that just before this show.
Yeah, and then we
and
didn't do it
I still
ourselves.
didn't fucking do it. Like it's hard. Like I thought we were in a really good spot. We were in the center. We were on the edge of the pit. I love being next to the pit. I don't like going in pits. I've only done that like once and I got my ass kicked.
I don't think I could do it. I would probably fall and cry.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to me, right? I didn't cry, but like I broke my tailbone or some shit.
Oh yeah, I remember.
For like 2 weeks.
And that was like an EDM show, right?
Yeah, it was weird as shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did not feel good, but I haven't been in the pit since. I love being on the edge of the pit, so that's so much fun to me.
Yeah.
Getting pushed into and pushing people. Like I love when you're in a packed crowd and you can't really control what you're doing. You got to just go with the crowd as an organism. Those shows don't happen a whole hell of a lot for us anymore. Like we don't see shows like that, or crowds aren't like that outside of a handful, unfortunately. But yeah, I love being on the edge of the pit. This just really fucking sucked where I couldn't see the pit.
Yeah.
But if we had moved back, maybe I would have enjoyed the music a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit I kind of somewhat sort of remember. I do enjoy.
It's hardcore core music.
It seemed like something I could get into and could enjoy. I don't remember shit from this fucking...
Yeah, I agree with you with the pit and everything. And I remember the last song was probably the worst, where I felt like the lights were just like black, flash, black, flash, black, flash. And I could not see anybody. And then all of a sudden, I got pushed 5 rows back.
Like a massive dude fell into you. And I remember you grabbed my arm to I was like, what the fuck am I going to do?
I know. You're supposed to save me.
No, I tried to let go, but you wouldn't let go of me. So
No, I was holding on for dear life. Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy the pit, but we should have taken our own advice and moved somewhere else to a place that we felt more comfortable so we could enjoy the show. So
we should have, for sure. And there were a lot more people at this show than I thought. And so that kind of that kind of went into my head and my mindset of like, I don't want to lose this spot. I want to have a good spot. I don't want to fight for this spot either, type thing, right?
Yeah. I was surprised with how heavy Conquer Divide was and how heavy Victims were, because my mind, Kittie was like a
you mean
metal
after
puppet.
Seeing them?
Yeah, after I didn't. The whole show I thought was going to be more like a pop metal show.
Okay.
I don't know Kittie music, and I was going off of their logo, which looks like a pop logo.
I don't
like
know.
a 90s girl band pop logo.
If you're heavy metal, I guess.
No.
Like, it looks heavy to me.
No, it doesn't. It's just Kittie.
It's got like daggers on it and shit. Like claws and whatnot.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Look up the logo. It's going to have like the swoops and everything. All right, so it doesn't have daggers, except for the K. The K's kind of look sharp on the edges. The T's at the bottom.
I guess it kind of looks sharp on the edges, but to me it just looks like, I don't know. I've always thought of them as more of a pop metal
Really?
band. Yes, I didn't know anything about their music.
That's true. You didn't.
So going into hearing Conquer Divide, which is kind of heavy, kind of, rock heavy, and then hearing Victims, which is like super heavy, like hardcore core music, and then Kittie. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be that type of night.
Okay. I mean, I knew Kittie music going in. I didn't know these other bands. Have a couple of their albums. I mean, I thought I had their first album, and we looked for it as soon as I got home, and I can't find the CD.
We might have it in like storage or something.
Grabbed everything out of storage though, so I don't know where the fuck it is. I swear to God, I had that album. I just don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It did come out a couple years ago now on Record Store Day, and that was one I was super excited for and wanted to get, but it sold out like instantly, and now it's like $60-$80 on Discogs. So it's on the wish list of something to buy at some point in the future, unless they do. I mean, I'll still buy it, but not that version. But if they do like a repressing or another pressing of it in a different splatter or different thing, I'll get that one.
Yeah.
But it's on the wish list to get. But before we get into Kittie,
oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to like jump.
No,
I was just
it's all
trying
good.
to say what my thoughts of
the
first two bands were.
Before Victims came out, I was wondering if they'd have any females in their band.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
Kittie,
I had the same thought, yeah.
Because Kittie's like an all-female band.
Mm-hmm.
The next day I looked them up on like the Google machine, the browser,
the internet.
That's the word I'm looking for.
The interwebs.
And I think they had a male bassist at one point for a few years, but Kittie in my mind has always been like the all-female metal band.
I've always thought of them that way too. Yeah.
And then Conquer Divide came out, and 3 out of the 4 members of the band were females. Didn't say this. The one thing I did really, really like about Conquer Divide was the male vocals, not because it was a male, but because he provided the deeper growl, sort of harsh vocals, where she provided sort of the more clean vocals. And I really liked that dynamic back and forth.
I like that too in music.
And that setup of going between those two styles. Sometimes you have to have 2 vocalists do it. Other times you have somebody who can do both of those bits. But when a band pulls it off and does both parts very, very well in their music composition, I fucking love it. And I think that's one of the reasons I really gravitated towards Conquer Divide and their music this night. Because like, holy shit, I love that. Clean to harsh to clean to harsh, back and forth. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But 3 out of the 4 members were female. Then Victims comes out and no female. So it's like, oh, all right, that's
over.
I guess there goes my theory.
However,
they do have a female drummer
Yep.
who unfortunately couldn't be there due to health reasons and whatnot. So yeah, that was cool. So the thought I had there was, again, back when I first discovered Kittie, and basically since then, it's always been the all-female metal band. There hasn't really been very many female, especially in the early 2000s, there wasn't really a big female presence in metal.
yeah, that's true. Back then, yeah, there was.
You had
really
a
wasn't.
couple you could point to, right? Outside of Kittie, which was all-female band. Now, however, in today's music, so many bands have female bassists, drummers, vocalists. Like, there's female presence all over metal now, all over the place.
But females cannot play guitar. I'm just joking.
Where's that coming from?
Because you just said bassist, drummer, vocals, but you didn't say guitar.
I didn't say keyboardist. I didn't say...
I know. I was just joking with you.
I know. I got you.
No. It was a joke.
But they're all over the place. And I was wondering, like, going into, like, oh, I wonder if that's sort of the gimmick, or not the gimmick, but the thought here is, like, Kittie started it with the all-female metal band. Now, however, every band has... not necessarily every band, but a lot of bands have a female presence. It's not just sort of this one band representing, you know, our... Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I think metal in general is that way, where there's more females now than... I mean, like, if you watch anything from the 90s, it was, like, just males everywhere. Like
white males, too, right?
White
like
males, yes.
White males all the time. Now, outside of, again, like El Nino, which was, again, the Spanish or Hispanic metal band.
Latino.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know the appropriate term.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The way I understand it is Hispanic means that you have like genealogy from Spain.
Yep.
Where Latino is like Latin America.
Okay.
So.
whatever. If we offended people, sorry, not intentional by any means.
No. And I could be totally wrong.
Yes.
That's just how I've always heard it.
But in any case, like, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, oh, this band is all X, all like non-white, but they're all X, or they have one or two members of ethnicity X or something like that, right?
But I guess it kind of goes to, do you say Kittie, the all-female band, or is it just Kittie?
It's just Kittie, but in the back of my mind, it's always sort of like, oh, right, they're the all-female band.
And I only asked that because, going off of gender, but going to, like, The Who, I say, oh, we like this band called The Who, which is a Mongolian metal band.
Again, see,
And it's like, why do we have to say Mongolian?
Right.
But it's because you don't really get that presence.
Rammstein, the German metal band.
I don't say that. I just say Rammstein.
Oh, well, if I'm talking to non-metal people, it's always, they're a German metal band.
Oh, okay.
I always, like, that's how I differentiate it.
Oh, I guess I do say Rammstein from Germany.
Right, because, again, they're speaking always in, for the most part, always in German.
Yeah. And same with, like, Bloodywood. It's like, oh, an Indian metal band. Like
Indian folk new metal band.
But it is that kind of thing where it's like, why do you have to add that extra? Like you just did with El Nino, like they were the Latino metal band. Like, why do you have to add that? We don't say Lamb of God, the white male from Richmond, motherfucking Virginia metal
because it's
band.
Richmond, motherfucking Virginia. It's not Richmond, Virginia. It's Richmond, motherfucking Virginia.
That's what I just said.
I know. I'm just saying. But also, like, Avatar, In Flames, Amon Amarth, Ghost. We don't say the band, then Swedish.
Yeah, no. Well, you don't have to when they're from Sweden.
I mean, basically every band right now is from Sweden anyway. Yeah. So.
But no, I guess that's where I'm kind of coming from is like, why? I mean, I get where you're coming from with the whole female thing because I had the exact same thought after Conquer Divide. But it's like, why do you even have to have that thought going into it where it's like...
So for me, I think it goes way, way back for me, especially with Kittie. As I remember finding out about Kittie in fucking 1998, 99, 2000, somewhere in that late 90s time frame. I was living in Des Moines at the time, one of the last years I was living there, with my best friend had a birthday party, and I got invited over for the slumber party part of it, right? Or I guess the whole birthday party, but it was a slumber party also. He was 2.5 years older than I was, and he had a bunch of his friends from school come, and they were all into skateboarding, they were all into metal. Their favorite band was Metallica, and at the time, if you asked me, I would tell you it was Metallica, not because I knew jack shit about Metallica, but because my best
Your
friend
friends knew them.
And I wanted to be friends, and like everything they liked, I liked, basically, right? Later on, I would discover Metallica on my own, so to speak, and fucking loved it, and they became my favorite favorite band after that. But I remember there being at the slumber party, hanging up in his room with his friends talking. I was just sort of sitting there quietly and whatnot.
That
does not shock you.
No, not at all. That you just sat in the corner quietly by yourself.
I think we listened to Laser, honestly, on the radio, and they were playing like heavier music. And one of the kids, I think, said something about he wished they would have played Kittie. He wished they play Kittie, or something about Kittie.
Yeah.
And he was talking about they're the all-female metal band type thing. And I remember that in my head, like, oh, okay. And then completely forgot about them altogether. And then in the mid-2000s, due to Metallica, I discovered metal and sort of went down the rabbit hole myself and discovered a bunch of other bands. And somehow I rediscovered Kittie. And then I looked them up and I started following them a little bit then, and like, oh, wait, they're an all-female metal band. And then it kicked something in the back of my head of like, oh, shit, I remember this moment growing up, or just a few years ago. I was still growing up at the time. But of this sort of conversation, it jogged my memory and it sort of latched. But at the time, they were always in my head as like the all-female metal band. And in the early 2000s, I kind of like viewed it as sort of a marketing or sort of somewhat of a gimmick by the record label, right? Of like, oh, we're going to sign this all-female band because that's the new uniqueness of this band. Not necessarily that the music's good, which it is good. I really enjoy the music, but from a record label perspective, and I don't think very highly of people and like writing these contracts and signing new bands. I don't think very highly of them. I think they are that shallow and like just looking for like, you look different, I can sell that.
Yeah,
that will sell albums. Like that's how I have it in my head. And to me, it's like they were playing in a bar or something, and the record person walked in. It's like, you're all female. There's not one of you around. Let me hire you and sign you right now. So in my head, it's always been that way of the record industry just sort of picked them up because they were all female and they're like, I can sell this.
Well, maybe that's why I kind of always had the thought, and I never listened to Kittie music. Maybe you played them a few times or whatever when, like, back when we lived, well, we still lived together, but you know what I mean, when we got together. But I think that's why I always had an idea that they were like pop metal.
Yeah.
Because kind of like a boy band thing where it's like, it's a girl band that was put together, you know, that got together or whatever. So I don't know.
The heavier version of Josie and the Pussycats, basically.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Or the Spice Girls. Like,
I think the Spice
metal
Girls.
Spice Girls.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that's kind of why I always had that connotation that they were just like a pop band.
So we've been talking about Kittie here for just a little bit.
Yeah, should we talk about the set list?
Let's talk about the set list.
Yeah. So they started with Fire, I've Failed You, Cutthroat, No Name, Spit, What I Always Wanted, Sorrow I Know, Look So Pretty, Ugly, We Are Shadows, One Foot in the Grave, Eyes Wide Open, Severed, Funeral for Yesterday, In Winter, Vultures, Charlotte, Mouthful of Poison, Brackish, We Are the Lamb, and then their encore was Do You Think I'm a Whore?
All right, so I don't remember that last track. I remember We Are the Lamb being the last track in my head. I don't remember Do You Think I'm a Whore?
Is this the Chicago set list?
It's the Chicago set list. And I don't think I put We Are the Whore on our playlist. Because I did that like soon after the concert. We Are the Lamb, I definitely remember. Brackish, I remember. I do remember that, though, being earlier. A couple songs, I thought.
Oh, so it might be out of order.
But I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
I'm not super fond. Not fond. I'm not super familiar with their music enough to like tell you, no, this song was played here.
Yeah. But we've seen that. So we've seen that recently with like Five Finger Death Punch and stuff where like the songs are on the Setlist FM, but they're not in the right order or stuff like that. So, and there's only a few bands that we could do that for because we know their catalog fairly well.
And well, right? Yeah. But in any case, before they even came out, I don't know if you caught this, but like all the music in between when they were doing the set change and whatnot was just like 90s pop music. I loved it. It was so fun.
I didn't notice.
There were a couple people around us dancing to it and whatnot, and I was like, oh, it's kind of funny because when they came up or when they started their band, this was sort of the popular music that was on the radio at the time, and it's fun, but it does suck. It's not good music.
Yeah.
And then you get Kittie, which came out around the same time, and their music so much fucking better than like Madonna and shit like that.
Yeah. I'm not into pop music. I don't think that's any surprise.
No. I like pop. I do like some of it, not a whole lot. It takes a little bit to grow on me.
Yeah.
In any case, their set as a whole, I was super fucking happy to see. I was excited for this show because, again, this was a band that I had rediscovered in the early 2000s when I started getting into metal again, or just not again, but into metal. And I kind of remember them breaking up or not really hearing much of them.
Yeah.
And then being like, well, I'm never going to see them. And then when I saw this tour come around, I was like, holy shit, they're back. I want to go see this. I thought they broke up a long time ago in like the late 2000s. They've been making shit all the way up to like 2017 or so.
Just not touring.
Well, not coming to Chicago for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think this was their first show in, what'd they say, like 10 years almost?
Yeah, since 2013 or something like that. So.
Crowd was super fucking awesome. We had moved from where we were standing to get away from the pit, which sucked because this pit was more of like what we expected or wanted.
Yeah, where the lights are on or not lights on. That's the wrong way to put it. But like they're not the strobe lights and stuff like that.
You could see the pit, and it wasn't that hardcore fist throwing.
And it was
pit.
More condensed.
It was very condensed. Yeah. I've noticed that a lot about pits right now. Like when they open, they get very, very fucking big for like 3 people in a pit, and then like everybody else just backs away from it. And it's like we need to get this thing more packed in here, folks. Like this is not good for them. It's not good for us. Like, but everybody's just afraid to be near the pit.
I know.
Like, be on the outside then. It's fine. I don't know. But that one was very dense and very packed in there. And it looked like a lot more fun of a pit for me. Right.
Yeah. I'd agree.
So I was like kicking myself afterwards. Like, shit, that's a really good spot to see the show and be right next to the pit.
Oh well.
But I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I was pleasantly surprised. I would say I was surprised on how much heavier than it was than what I thought it would be, and I don't know. I just really enjoyed it.
It had a good sort of new metal, early 2000s
sound,
metal sound to it.
Yes, and we've been to a couple of those types of concerts where it like kind of brings back that early 2000s sound, and then it's like, yes, like this is good sort of thing.
So I mean, like they came out. I think their first album was 1999-2000, which was Spit, and yeah, I don't know. It brought back a lot of good memories from like that discovering metal phase for me in like the early 2000s. A lot of similar sounds to shit you heard back then. Some of the bands that sort of evolved, they've evolved a little bit in terms of their sound. They have a new album out, Fire, I think it's called. But it sounds very similar to their shit as well that they've already released. But yeah, it was a good sound. It brought back a lot of good memories. It was I don't know. I really, really enjoyed their set. And they fucking played forever.
They did. It was a long set. Yeah.
21 tracks or so. Like that's fucking insane.
Yeah. I don't remember where in the set that they did this, but they asked like, oh, does anybody have our new album or whatever? And a couple people held up the vinyl of it or whatever. And out of the corner of we had moved kind of to the back side, stage right in the back a little bit.
Yeah.
And out of the corner of my eye, there's just this old guy who comes up with a CD and like holds it up like, I have your album. It was adorable. Like to see, I like seeing older people at shows, but then to see him just like have the album like or the CD and hold it up, I'm just like, that's adorable that you still listen to music on CDs.
I mean, maybe, or at the merch he picked it up and it was like signed or some shit like that.
I think that's what it was. It's from the merch.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah. I think that's what the other people probably had the vinyl from as well, because they were selling it there.
You wouldn't bring it in.
No.
Yeah, so definitely from the merch then.
Yeah, but I just thought it was adorable.
No, yeah, for sure.
Was holding up his little CD.
His little CD. I don't know. It's been a while since we saw this show. I don't have anything bad to say about their set. But it was crazy good. I really liked it because it brought back those memories, like I said already. I don't know. It was fun. I had fun, and yeah, I don't know. It was great.
No, I liked it. I haven't listened to their music since we left that show, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I would go see them again. I thought it was gonna be a one and done band for me, where I would just be like, I'll go because Brian wants to go.
Yeah, and I'm happy we got to see him too. Like I'm super happy that. Again, I thought they broke up a long time or took a hiatus a long time ago. I was way off on that. It was more recent than I thought. But it's good to see them back. I hope they stick around. I hope they keep going out there and fucking putting on amazing shows. And it's something I definitely want to see again for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Possibly at like a festival next year.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah, possibly.
But I don't know. It was fucking awesome. And it brings back hope of some of these other bands from the early 2000s or so that I got into, such as like Chimera. I got really into them, and then I never got to see them. They either didn't tour Iowa, or they weren't there when I was seeing music, or I just couldn't make it work. I can't remember.
Or we couldn't afford it or something.
I've never seen them live, so hopefully, and they're doing shit now, so like I can't wait to see them hopefully. And other bands like that, Shadows Fall last year was the same thing. Yep. I think I heard recently they're going to be coming out with a new album, or they got a new label that they're going to be signing on to. So all of this like early 2000s or late 90s shit, like that was a thing that sort of like took a break. They're coming back, and I hope they do, and I hope I get to see them. So I'm super excited for all that, and this was one example of that. So I don't know, it was a blast.
Yep, it was really good. Yep.
In any case, yeah, it was a fun show, all things considered, and the few minor hiccups that. We need to just decide for ourselves to move. Yes, we do. We need to do that. So, like we said, take care of yourselves, but go check out live music. It's fucking awesome, and we'll see you at the next show.
Yep. Bye.